welcome to Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm Ninon, your host, and I have the most fabulous guy in town. And I was just talking to him on many, many things because he does many things in town. His name is Rob Ruckus. If you haven't heard that name, you're going to hear it right now. Rob, how are you?
Hear a lot of it.
And he's been dying to get on the show, and at last we got him on the show. It's taken a little time.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah.
I've actually came down and watched you film, but I've never got to actually make it on.
So now we got
I'm honored.
Oh, I'm honored too. Well, we're both honored to be on. Now, Rob, I was talking about a lot of different things. You are a writer, you are a musician, you are everything. What's your favorite?
Oh,
you've got to have a favorite. Are they all your favorites?
Just waking up in the morning is my favorite.
Amen. Cool. That's a pretty cool, good idea.
I'm going to have to say musician because that's what got me in. I've been playing music in Las Vegas since 1983, 1984.
Wow. So you're one of the older ones in Vegas.
I'm one of the older ones.
So you have actually seen all the changes everybody's made.
Oh yeah. I remember when the Killers were little kids coming to watch my bands play.
Right.
And now they're playing around the world.
Now, what did you play and were you singing?
I'm a bass player.
A bass player.
Normally, I played guitar in a couple bands. I've sang for a couple bands, but normally I'm a bass player. I do a lot of backup vocals and everything from punk rock to jazz, country to blues.
Yeah, you can do rock. You can do, whatever.
And what I loved about it was taking stuff from my country band, putting it in the punk rock band, taking stuff from the jazz band and putting it in the rock and roll band. Just mixing it together because that's where new and vital things come from.
Are the younger generation able to do that?
No, because they just have their phones now. They just sit on their phones.
See what I
and
mean?
make
So we've got to get it a little bit.
Yeah, we can teach these kids to blow horns and play strings and play piano.
Not just one instrument.
They can do them all. Do all
the instruments. Because I've noticed a lot of you that are out there that have these bands. You can play so many different instruments. It's like, it's amazing. But it's also, I can understand it because once you've got that rhythm of music through you're able to put it out there.
Exactly.
So then you got into the cannabis. Now, I had a show out there, and it was called Cannabis, Cancer Awareness and Cannabis. And it was all about,
That's where I came on to you from.
And that's when you first came on. You never actually got on the show,
but
you were watching it. And you wanted to see, what we were all about and what you did. What made you get into this cannabis?
Okay. So what happened, actually, I went from music to television. I did the TV show Bad Ink for a couple years.
What TV show was that?
It was called Bad Ink. It was on A&E. I actually filmed a couple episodes here even.
See? It's always the Peppermo, it's always there.
Exactly. We would go, my friend Dirk would go up and down the strip with me and we'd find people with bad tattoos and we'd pull the story out of them. What happened? Why did you get that? Why did it come out so terrible? What changed in your life to make that a terrible thing for you? And then cover it up. And then, let them go on about their lives again. So it lasted a couple seasons, but while that was happening, I lost a couple very dear friends. My drummer of 20 years, Gary Wright, who played in many, many bands in Las Vegas, and my roommate of 25 years, Doug Fry, both passed away from cancer a year to the day.
So you started to kind of research because cannabis has been around for many forever. And it's an old medicine.
It grows everywhere on the planet for a reason.
And there's a reason for
We'll get to that.
But it was always a medical reason.
Yes.
It was always for medical things. So it was sort of, it was always, out there. So
also while the TV show was happening, and I was under a morality contract, I wasn't allowed to advocate anymore. So right before TV started, I started getting into the Rick Simpson oil and telling people about it because there's this amazing thing that I saw work. My friend's daughter was born with cancer. She was born with bladder cancer. She wasn't supposed to be 3 years old. The surgeries and the medical treatment that they would have had to put that poor child through would have been horrible. They would have broke her hips. They would have given her poison every day. She'd have been double colostomy. And the cost,
And then the cost is astronomical.
And it was ridiculous what they wanted to do to this child. So the mother decided, quality over quantity. If we have to just let her do her days out till she's 3 years old, that's fine. And luckily we found out about cannabis oil. So we started heavy dosing this child.
Yes, because I know there's different dosages for the younger generation and for the older people.
Exactly, and for animals, smaller things need smaller doses.
Of course.
But It's all a good medicine. It's all something. Now,
what
here's
happened
where I'm
with
going to
the
get
little-
into
What happened with the little girl?
The girl's 100% cancer-free now.
She's still alive. She had
100%
three years to live.
cancer-free.
Can you imagine that? 3 years to live.
Nothing but the oil. She never had chemo. She never had radiation. She had nothing but cannabis oil, Rick Simpson oil. Nothing but that. And that is why that child is still alive today. There's no brain damage. She could sing you every Blondie and Ramones song ever.
Oh my God, I have her on the show then.
Oh, she's the most wonderful little girl.
We're going to have her. We have to have her on that show, and we'll hear the whole story from her. Because
Exactly.
I guess at 3 years old, you don't realise what you've got and how hard it is.
She's
and how
9 now.
bad. She's 9.
She's
Isn't
9
that
now, living
fabulous?
in New Orleans, doing wonderful.
That's amazing.
So
Absolutely amazing.
once that happened, George Knapp, the local news reporter, came to me and goes, I know what you did for this little girl. I want to put you on the news and let's tell people about this wonderful thing. Well, I was under a morality contract, so I couldn't. So what we did was we blurred out my face. I wore a long sleeve.
Imagine blurring out this face. I mean, how can you blur out
Here's the
this
fun
face?
part.
I mean, with
Can you
this,
imagine
know?
changing this voice?
No, you've got the voice.
So they had to change my voice, blur my face out, and I did the whole process. I showed them how to make the oil.
So don't you teach that now?
Yes, I do. I teach because I can't make it legally now.
No.
Making Rick Simpson oil is a Class C felony. If I get caught making this oil,
You're
it's the
locked
same
up.
thing as somebody making methamphetamine. It's a Class C
Exactly the
felony.
same thing.
Yeah.
So I thought they passed a law in Vegas for the medical marijuana.
I am a medical patient.
So
I
you're
have
a
been for 6
medical
years.
patient. So when they say medical, you've got dispensaries here, right?
Yes.
Quite a few now.
And not one
Unless
of the
you're-
dispensaries, not one of the production companies that's in the state is making Rick Simpson oil properly. I just went to a clinic
That's
the other night
interesting.
that Essence Dispensary had, along with Cannavative and Evergreen Organics. Organics with an X, because they can't really call it organic, because it's not. But anyways,
You're learning all these things. I mean, stay tuned in and find out what's
Rick
going on.
Simpson oil is a 90% THC product. The product that they're putting out in the dispensaries right now is 38, 39, 45.
So that actually, so
It's
when,
not
so
the right
then
medicine.
they're going to get the reading is going to be wrong.
Yes.
Because they're going, then that means that that's going to come out that it hasn't cured them because it's too. So we have to be careful because we're saying this kind of cures you. This is just quote unquote. I'm not really saying. I'm just quoting.
Yes.
So
I'm not a
therefore-
doctor. I
No,
cannot say
no.
this.
But so you're saying that they're going at 31%, and it should be a 90%.
It should be 80 to 90%.
80 to 90%
THC.
with the
And
THC. So if you can understand that, and if you can't research the THC, find out exactly what it is,
Exactly.
and
That's your cancer
because-
fighter.
That's your fighter. So if you're doing a 30 and against a 91, nothing might happen.
And the problem is, in these dispensaries, since this is such a new medical
It's very
field,
new,
this
yes.
is very new. People are just hearing about this. They don't know when they go into a medical dispensary and they say, I have cancer, I need this Rick Simpson oil. Oh, here, we have this Rick Simpson oil. They're calling it Rick Simpson oil.
Okay, so they're
But it
not
is
portraying.
not.
They're portraying the name
Yes.
as of the percentage. So watch out there. So when you do go out there, watch out for the percentage of it when you ask for this.
Best thing to
particular
do is
oil.
make it yourself.
And is
Just
that
don't get caught.
Now wait a second. That's what you teach.
Yes, to make
But
it
is it
yourself.
also
because-
it's also legal to actually grow 6 plants?
Yes, as of right now.
As
it
of
is.
right now, you can grow 6 plants. I know I'm going over time with Rob, but I have to.
I'm sorry.
No, don't ever be sorry. No, don't ever be
But
sorry. for what
getting
you've
back
been
to that
doing.
real quick, getting back to that, when George Knapp came to me, we did the news story.
Yes.
4 days later, they made it so children could get cards in the state of Nevada.
Oh.
So
a child can get it. So now a child.
yes,
that was
because
through
we
you.
were worried that the mother, if something happened to that little girl and she had to go to the doctor and they blood test her and found those high levels of THC in her blood,
Yeah.
the mother would have gone to prison. The child would have gone to CPS, Child Protective Services, who more than likely would have forced chemo and radiation upon that child and killed her. So
So
we had
you've
to
got
make
to
it where the
really
child
raise-
was able to get those cards, and that's where George Knapp really helped me.
And also,
and we
I'm
made
not
it happen.
correct, but I believe that a lot of out-of-state card holders
use in Nevada.
can buy it in Nevada.
Yes.
Whereas, if you live in your own state, you can't take that card to any other state, just your state.
My
or
Nevada card only works here. It doesn't
Your-
work in California
But
or anywhere
other
else.
people's cards from
But
other
people's
states.
card works
So
here.
understand,
So
if you're
reciprocity.
here and you need some cannabis oil, whatever you
You
need,
can get it.
You can actually get it here if you're from New York or Oklahoma or wherever you're from.
Now with recreational coming, as of hopefully July is what we're looking at. Anybody can come in to the dispensaries and buy. Everybody.
And can buy anything
over
they
21.
want. Over 21. So over 21, you just talked about the children having cards.
The parents have to come in to get
So the children have to come, a 9-year-old can't just
with-
walk into a dispensary and get
No. Children cannot just walk in on their own, but they will go in with their parents to get
But
the
that
medication
covers the parent, so that legally the child can have this.
100%.
So that's so if anybody wants to get, you write a column.
I write a column for Vegas Cannabis magazine every month.
Vegas
So when I see things in the medical marijuana field that are not right, like as of right now, all the edibles that are in dispensaries are full of sugar. You can't give sugar to cancer patients and diabetics. You can't. Sugar is
are we
cancer
learning?
food.
Oh my goodness, that should have you on for a whole hour.
Sugar is cancer food, so you can't give that to them. So
Okay.
I'm pleading to the producers, please make something sugar-free.
Yes.
When I see that there's no proper Rick Simpson oil in dispensaries, please, producers, let's do this right. People's lives are at stake. So I'm just calling out people.
Do you understand
Excuse my language, I'm a bull.
You understand how passionate you are about this.
100%.
He's not only passionate about the cannabis oil, he's passionate about people's lives.
The patients. I don't care about the money. I don't care about these corporations making their money back. I care about these patients getting a plant that grows all over the world, that every human being on the planet. We have an endocannabinoid system in our body. There's cannabinoids in breast milk. We have cannabinoids in our body before we even know what marijuana is. It makes our immune system strong. We are missing a staple of our diet. The plant grows everywhere in the world for a reason.
Of course it does.
Because we are supposed to be consuming it to make our immune system strong. And corporate is keeping that from us. Big pharma and...
But plants were always the medical side of life, and now it's pills, and it's artificial, it's the whole bit. On that, we've got to go. How can people reach you?
You can find me on the Facebooks, you can find me on the Instagrams. I'm not hard to find. Google Rob Ruckus, I'm easy to find.
Rob Ruckus, don't forget to Google him. You'll
Here to
find
help
him everywhere,
anybody.
and he's here to help and truly.
Thank you so much for
especially the
that.
younger generation. Oh, I love having you on.
Appreciate you.
I've learned so much and understand a little bit more about the cannabis. We'll be right back with Vegas Live with Ninon.